You have found Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggles, stories, and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. Past episodes of the Authentic Business Adventures program can be found on the podcast link at drawincustomers.com. We are coming to you from the Sun Prairie Community Radio Studios, underwritten by Bank of Sun Prairie. My name is James Kademan, entrepreneur, author, speaker, and helpful coach to small business owners across the country. Today, we are welcoming / preparing to learn from Laurel Link from Parabo Press. Laurel, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good today.
Awesome. So Parabo Press, tell us, what is Parabo Press?
So Parabo Press is a photo printing service, and we're direct to consumer. So your average everyday person can come to our website at Parabo Press or use the Parabo Press app, and they upload some photos, and they can either make a set of prints or some wall art or photo books.
Nice.
And we ship them directly to their house, so they don't have to go anywhere.
So your customers are nationwide, worldwide?
Yeah, global. I mean, you can really order from anywhere. And when we started, we printed primarily at a photo printing facility in India.
Okay.
So it really was just as inexpensive to ship to Australia, to Europe, to some
wow.
other markets. So we really did go, kind of all over. But we are U.S. based, so we know that market the best. And
Sure.
over time, we've actually moved a lot of our printing to the U.S., so we're kind of scaling back to
Sure.
just marketing to U.S. customers, but we can ship anywhere.
Interesting. Well, I'm not sure how many listeners we have worldwide, so we'll stick with nationwide for now.
Okay, perfect.
So how many people work at Parabo Press?
In Madison area, we have full-time 4 people.
Okay.
And we have about 6 or so half-time people and freelancers doing other stuff for us.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And they take pictures of stuff, or what are they doing? Or selling?
So, yeah, some of our part-time folks are our customer support team. So if you email us or ask a question on our Instagram DMs, you'll get one of them.
Oh, sure.
So they work, remotely from wherever all around the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And our web development is also not in-house in Madison.
Gotcha.
So
Okay. Imagine that's a whole other animal there, right?
Yeah.
Holy cow. So how long have you guys been around?
So Parabo Press has been around almost 4 years, about 3.5 years.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So is this yours?
So I was there when we started. We kind of were born out of a different startup that was photography based, but more photography gear and photo taking tips. And we decided to start a photo printing brand out of it. And then there's been some ups and downs and roller coasters, different investors and ownership.
Sure.
And so for about the last almost a year, it's been the current iteration of Parabo Press, and I'm a CEO running the ship. And
nice.
So yeah, we've been around for 4 years, but I take full responsibility for the last year, I'd say.
Sounds like anniversaries of people that just cheat on each other a lot, right? I know it's been 22 years chronologically, but
give or take,
there's some up and down. So that's awesome. So you've been with them and seen all kinds of ups and downs.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So
overall, market-wise, do you see the business growing?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've been growing pretty steadily from the start. It's interesting to see ourselves getting more of a focus of which markets to be reaching out to more. So it's interesting to try to narrow our focus to a certain smaller group of people.
Get your niche.
By doing that, then our actual customer base is getting bigger because we're doing a better job of marketing to them.
Sure.
So it's kind of interesting. It seems scary to say well, we could sell this to anyone.
Right.
Why would we focus on showing pictures of moms and babies that somebody else couldn't relate to? Well, those moms with babies are going to see those pictures and really think, oh, yeah, that's me.
Sure. So they relate to them.
Yeah, more likely to check you out.
Gotcha. Instead of the everything to everyone, you can be everything to a certain niche and dominate it.
Yeah. I think the marketing's a little more effective, even though you're getting more and more specific.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I know when I teach my business planning class, I'm talking to people in there who is your market, right? Yeah. Everybody, right?
Yeah.
And I actually had this conversation with a woman that took it the wrong direction because I was talking to them about target market. Mm-hmm. So we talked about age and is it male or female? Where do they work? Where do they live? How much money do they make? Do they have kids? Are they divorced? What do they drive? Where do they go out to eat? All this stuff, right? To figure out whatever their target market is. And this woman actually took offense to that because she thought that I was being either sexist or ageist or just insert the ist here, right?
You're trying to exclude people from enjoying your product.
No,
but you're not doing that.
No, I'm marketing to these other people, but if somebody that doesn't fit my target market walks in the store or goes on my website to buy,
I'm
not going to say no.
More than welcome. Yeah.
I just know that we can't afford to market to everybody.
Yeah.
So you got to pick your niche.
Yeah.
So that's totally cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of products like, say, food. Everybody eats food.
Sure.
But if you just decide I'm going to market to everybody, it's hard. So
yeah, it's not going to happen.
If you think, oh, well, actually, people who are more concerned about their health, like my
right.
food, like there's things you can think of to narrow down.
Right.
So we've seen that with photo prints, we say, well, anyone can print a photo. Like, why wouldn't you?
right.
But then you start narrowing in and thinking like, well, who's actually printing more photos? Who's taking more photos? And, narrow in
sure.
on the type of people that you want to market to.
Funny.
Yeah.
You bring up the food thing, and I had we were doing a fundraiser with food carts over at my kids' school, at the nursery school, so 4 and 5-year-old kids. And the food cart that showed up was this Thai food, which was not ideal for 4 and 5-year-olds.
Yeah, 4 and 5-year-olds.
Because they're used to chicken nuggets, macaroni and cheese, and Thai food is pretty spicy.
Yeah.
And so the Thai people, their idea of not spicy and a 5-year-old kid's idea of not spicy, two very different things.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, this didn't work out quite as planned. So I totally get that.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to you. One of the things that interested me about your business is the evolution of photography over the past 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, Kodak, probably 30 years ago, maybe thought everything was cool.
Yeah.
And now, from their perspective, it's probably not so hot. I don't even know if they're around anymore.
Yeah.
Anyways.
At least the brand name is around still. I don't know how strong.
So, I mean, people are taking more pictures. For the most part, I see people, like Instagram is a thing, right?
Yeah,
It's just all pictures. I see when I'm looking at cars on Craigslist or something like that, apparently people are afraid of running out of film because they only put 1 or 2 pictures of the vehicle up there. I'm like, there's no reason for you not to put 30 pictures up of the car you're trying to sell. Anyways, I just wonder, how has your business evolved over the past few years since people have cameras that are just getting better and better on their phone that they carry with them all the time? Yeah,
that actually was like kind of a big part of why we even started Parabo in the first place, because that was only 3.5 years ago. We had a photography shop and photography gear and talking to photographers, and it was, a smaller group of people who maybe had a DSLR and they're taking it out on the weekends. And then all of a sudden, because I was with that company since about 2008 or 9, so a bit longer.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was people with DSLRs, mostly sometimes a point and shoot digital camera, and then they put a camera on the iPhone, and it's just like 2 years later, everyone's walking around with a camera in their pocket. Then Instagram comes along, and there's always been photo printing this whole time. You could always still go to Walgreens or anything like that. But these people who maybe their first phone was an iPhone, and they joined Instagram, and millennials who had never taken a roll of film anywhere, they don't know what a roll of film is. So they've never gotten a photo printed. To them, a photo is something that you post to your feed, somebody likes it, you post another thing to your feed.
It's not a tangible thing.
So they don't even think about photo prints. And so we kind of saw an opportunity there. Like, they're not going to seek out Shutterfly because they've been making photo books every year for the last 20 years. These younger millennials don't think about printing their photos, so we start running ads on Instagram, and our main product is a square photo print instead of a 4x6 because they're posting them as a square. So
interesting.
That's what they're going to want to print it out as.
That's funny you say that because I saw that on your website, and I was like, why is all this stuff square?
Yeah.
My mind just went to who's cropping this stuff.
Yeah.
That is so fun. I'm just showing my age here. That's so funny.
Because and we still offer you could upload a photo directly from your phone, and it's maybe a rectangle, or you can download them from your computer, or upload them. But you could also just connect your Instagram. You put your name and your password, and there's all your photos, and you choose which ones you want to print. So, we had to think.
That's clever.
Think like our customers. Okay, all the photos they want to print are square, so just go with square.
Nice. And the stuff that you can put on photos, put the photos on, I should say. Yeah. That's a crazy wide range. I had no idea.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you can print your photos on these days, and we've tried a few different things, added them, taken it out of the shop. We're always looking to add new products as a way to keep our customers interested. We primarily are, printing on paper, the books and the wall prints. For a time we had glass prints. Those are not there anymore.
Glass prints? Holy cow, that is a pain.
It was pretty cool product. Hard to show. It's one disadvantage of only being on the internet. If people hold a glass print in their hands, they're like, whoa, this is so cool. But if you take a picture of a square glass print, it looks almost the same as the picture of the square paper print. So it's a bit of a challenge. But Yeah, we kind of focus on home decor items, and then a bit of archiving like books and, sets of prints that you just want to keep.
Sure.
So we do a lot of like wall hangings, and just looking at the younger crowd, and they're not going to try to purchase a very expensive, large, photo.
Right.
So we do another popular product for us is a 4-foot by 3-foot print. So it's very dramatic, very big,
right.
but it's on a really lightweight paper, like almost the same weight as your printer paper.
Oh, wow.
So if somebody buys it for their dorm, they can tape it up with some tape if they want.
Sure.
And it's really inexpensive that way because it's on the
nice.
lightweight paper.
Sure.
So yeah, we try to keep our audience in mind while we're designing our products and thinking of what we're going to print on next.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah.
Huh. So do you do any printing actually at the place where your office is?
We didn't initially, but we've just started somewhat recently, got in a product. So our different products use different printers. So we purchased a printer to have in Madison for one type of product that we make.
Okay.
And yeah, it's really cool to see customer photos coming through, and it's really exciting.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what have been some of your favorite products that you've seen come in?
I think I always get a kick out of, just seeing like what people are printing. And we've even, because you can think in your head, oh, people are going to print X, Y, and Z. But then to actually know your customers is like just stand there next to the printer for a second or, go through some orders. And it's so many people. Like people love printing their kids, their friends. If they went on vacation. If they went on vacation, there might be one photo of, just the Eiffel Tower. But almost every other photo is going to have the friends they were with standing in front of something. So that's just fun to see.
Nice.
And yeah, I love it when people do cool things with pictures of their friends and family.
Sure. So the majority of what you do, is it photos like I'm picturing where it's just on a piece of paper, or is the majority where the photo is on something?
Yeah, it's a majority they're on paper. And I kind of think of our products as two different categories. Like either it's a single image product, so you think, oh, I took this really good photo, or I want to remember this one thing from my trip, and you print it out big to hang on the wall,
right?
Or to have in a frame, or whatever. And then there's the sets of prints where maybe you want to make an entire book, or you want to print out your entire summer onto little squares.
Sure.
So there's kind of those two different categories.
Gotcha.
People come to us for.
Okay. Nice. So I want to shift into the business end of things. So you said you saw some challenging times over the past few years, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about some of those, or can you talk about some of those?
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome. We got some time.
Yeah.
It's a safe place here, right?
Yeah. I'd say one big challenge was right at the beginning of Parabo Press existence. We did come out of that photography gear website, and it was kind of the same team working on both for a while.
Okay.
And that photography gear website had gotten a big investment and like a lot of money all of a sudden to use to try to grow that brand and also, help Parabo. But then it just, when your business changes so suddenly, it seems like the money wasn't used in the best way, and now you still owe money back to certain people at certain times. And so there's a big like shrink that had to happen. A bunch of people let go, and things scaled back, and so it has taught me a lot about, somebody might want to come and like help you grow real fast, but don't grow too fast. Make sure you have the wisest plan for any money you're going to have
systems
coming
in place and all that shit.
that kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely made me cautious about growing at a reasonable rate.
Okay, don't buy the ping pong table yet. So were you the one that had to get rid of people?
No, at that time I wasn't. I was one of the few, I would say lucky people who got to stay and keep working. So went through that.
Can't get rid of Laurel.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah.
So has there been recovery since then?
Yeah, so there was like a slight up and down since then. That was definitely the biggest hiccup. And, at our smallest, Parabo was just 2 people.
Okay.
And so we've, kind of recovered, grown since then. I'd say we're definitely on the uphill aside from that.
Sure.
So,
well, that's good.
Yeah.
What have been some of the other challenges that you've seen or had to deal with?
I'd say just making sure that you, keep listening to your customers and keep, making what they want. Because I think it's easy with a little bit of success to think like, wow, I really know what I'm doing here.
Sure.
And you keep just making decisions and
totally get it figured out.
Moving forward. Yeah. But if you don't, you check in now and then, kind of like you were talking about photography technology, like changing so quickly. It's like, I have to realize like some things that worked a couple of years ago might not work anymore. And,
sure.
So I think that's a challenge for me, is keeping up and checking in with customers, making sure that we're still on the right track.
Sure. All right, let's shift into the logistics of what you do. Because I look at something like YouTube, which is video versus photos, but I think of how many videos are uploaded on any given day.
Yeah.
Just the volume of space that their servers and all that kind of stuff must have to take with redundancy and all that jazz, and just stupid volume.
Yeah.
Stupid volume. I think, well, okay, pictures aren't that big, but they take up space.
Yeah. So we don't have like a big photo storage component of like storing anyone's photos. There's some like photo storage services that have moved into printing, or some printing services who have added storage as a service.
Okay.
We're photo printing, and we don't do any storage. We do use a lot of hosting space on any given day by people uploading their photos. We have to make the files that we're going to print from, but we only hold on to customers' photos for it changes down anywhere from 10 days to maybe 30 days, I think, is probably the longest we would ever hold on to a customer's photo. And that's just so if there's something wrong with the product and we want to reprint it, or it never gets delivered.
Right.
So yeah, we do use, I would say, probably more storage than your average e-commerce site or something like that. But it's kind of turning over time because we're not holding on to every single photo that comes in.
So is that a big deal to set up, or to find a software person to set up the setup kind of thing?
I think it was an initial challenge at the beginning, and we keep growing and needing more and more space, but it hasn't been too big of a problem.
Okay, well that's good. Yeah. That's good. I ask, one of the main reasons I ask is today my wife and I are getting new carpet in our house, right? Okay. You never realize, or in some rooms, you never realize how much junk you have in a room until you have to move all of it out.
Get it all off the floor.
You have to figure out where to put it that you won't be in the way of the people putting the carpet in, right?
Yeah.
So I come across the digital camera. And I remember buying this digital camera. It was probably, let's call it 10 years ago, neighborhood. And it was a couple megapixel, whatever. And I remember buying that camera, and you're just like, whoa, 2.3 megapixel, holy cow. What do we even have microscopes for here? We can totally take a picture of anything. And now with phones and stuff like that, they evolve. The 2.3 megapixel is junk.
Yeah.
It's worthless. It's like, oh my gosh, you're just taking a picture of a big square. It's so pixely. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I imagine that the pictures that people are taking with their phones now, just the size keeps getting bigger and bigger. I don't know what phones do with the pictures, if they dumb them down or compress them.
I think that's been a challenge, and I think it was a little worse a couple of years ago. I would say I was constantly like filling iPhones with you can't take another photo because it's full. But I think with the cloud storage services available, it's gotten if somebody hooks into one of those, it's gotten a bit better. And I just keep buying bigger and bigger iPhones. So I think I don't know. That's on me. I'm just giving Apple all my money, but it's definitely something that photos have gotten bigger and bigger. But for us, it makes it exciting that we can offer like cooler and cooler products. In my opinion,
well,
like
4 foot by
like the 3 foot by 4 foot. If you tried using a file from your 2.6 megapixel camera, it wouldn't go very well. And we do hit that challenge sometimes when people print from their Instagram, like directly from their Instagram feed, like I described before.
Because they've compressed it.
Instagram does compress it quite a bit. So if you hook your Instagram up, to our site to order some stuff, it's probably best to stick to the smaller prints or like our smaller size book.
Okay.
But with the newest iPhones, you can blow one of those up to 3 to 4 feet, and it might be a little pixely when you get close, but it's not too bad. It's very impressive.
That's pretty big.
Yeah. I remember my first fancy digital camera, and I still have it too somewhere in my house. And I think I passed up the number of megapixel capacity a couple of iPhones ago.
Right?
It's just in my pocket every day. It's crazy.
Weird.
Yeah.
I remember you just looking at the store like, oh, this one's 2.6, this one's 2.3, whatever. Oh my gosh, this is revolutionary. No, they're in the, I don't know, teens and 20s. I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, they're big. I think iPhones are somewhere between 8 and 12. I don't know, something like that.
It's bizarre. I'm going to shift into employees, since you guys had some employees and you've got to deal with employees, all that jazz. So where are you at and what you have to deal with in regards to employees? You're the boss, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So if they're not doing what they should, it's on you, essentially, to crack the whip, kind of. Okay.
Yeah, and we do have a good customer support manager who does a good job with those remote customer support people. So she's keeping them in line, and they do just an amazing job. But yeah, we have, right now the 4 full-time people in Madison, and we're going to be hiring really soon another person. So
nice.
Yeah, it's a challenge to find the right people.
Oh my gosh,
I think I've been really fortunate. Our first hire in Madison, besides me, because we were down to 2 people, but we were both kind of working remotely. He was in California. I was in Chicago. Then I moved to Wisconsin. So then I was in Wisconsin.
Sure.
And then we hired someone else in Madison, and her name's Meg, and she's amazing. Like, I feel like we got really lucky with that hire. So now every time I'm hiring someone else, I'm like, oh man, is there a Meg clone out there?
Oh, funny.
So I think I've been fortunate to see what a really good employee looks like. So she set the bar really high.
Okay.
And I think also from previous bosses that I've had, just watching them hire and see how very careful they are, it's I'd say one of the trickiest parts, because it's a big mistake to make if you get the wrong person in the door.
Right.
Yeah. So
nice.
It can be a challenge, but
interesting. That's fair. That's totally fair. Yeah. No, employees have been a challenge for everyone that's been sitting in your seat right there. It's just a thing. So I'm always curious about that. If you have any secrets for hiring or anything like that.
I mean, I think starting with a really clear job description is the best. And I don't know, I've written some job descriptions that are pretty long, but I think if you put all that information out there and the people applying have as much information as possible, you're going to, more likely to find a better fit, instead of just listing a few things you're looking for and getting a whole pile of people who say, oh, I could probably do that.
Sure, figure it out.
Be as specific as you need to be, because, you really want to find the right person.
Sure, that's fair. I can tell you from looking for resumes for calls on call, or looking at the resumes that come in, people are putting jobs that they were at for a couple of weeks on their resume.
Oh, man.
like holy cow, if you couldn't hold the job for more than 3 months, it's probably not the places you're working.
Maybe don't even list it. And I'm still figuring out where's the best place to list a job listing these days, because it kind of, there's free services, there's paid services, and to some extent you get what you pay for, because I've used some free sites where you end up just getting a lot of applicants that don't really match well. But then I don't know, I'm always torn, like, I'm going to pay money, but finding the right person is really worth it. So
we've tough.
Definitely done it.
Yeah, we've tried, or I guess we've used, or using, Craigslist and Indeed with, I would say success, because you end up hiring someone, but the volume of junk that you have to go through.
It's a lot.
I haven't found any service that sifts through the junk for you.
Yeah.
Like, where you can put criteria in there to say, don't even send these to me. If someone can't hold a job for more than 3 months, I don't even want to see their resume.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they don't let you put that in there.
Yeah.
So you get this volume. I don't know. So I don't have a good answer there.
Yeah.
So hopefully, maybe somebody does.
Yeah, we've had, I'd say, okay success with LinkedIn.
Okay.
But,
interesting.
Yeah, then I feel like you're also narrowing your pool to people who have, bought into and signed up for LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And I don't think of it as, like, first and foremost a job searching tool, although I'm sure LinkedIn would want you to think of them as it.
They kind of want to be everything.
Yeah, but that was one that we have used before.
That's clever. So do you do paid ads on LinkedIn?
You can get it to, like, post your listing. I think there's either a really low minimum, like $7, or maybe you possibly can do free. But I think we had to put in a few bucks for it to start showing our listing to people.
Interesting. Yeah. That's actually a pretty good idea, because I think I don't know, without being condescending to the people that aren't on LinkedIn, the level of person that is on LinkedIn versus, generally speaking, the level of person that is not, is not necessarily good or bad either way, but there's a professionalism to be on LinkedIn.
And it depends what you're hiring for, because if you need someone with, 5 years of experience, and if they've been in a professional setting, they're probably on LinkedIn. But if you're hiring someone to help out in your warehouse, then maybe LinkedIn's not the right spot.
We're looking for someone to mop floors for us. Let's check out LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
No, that's fair. That's fair. So the applicants that you got, were they connected to you somehow?
No, if they apply on LinkedIn, then you get access to either their full profile, or at least like a summary of their profile.
Okay.
So you don't have to be like a LinkedIn connection or anything.
Gotcha.
To, like, check
interesting.
them out. You use LinkedIn messaging back and forth to talk to them.
Right. Yeah. All right. And that's worked?
I think our one hire in the last year or so came through LinkedIn.
Well, that's 25% of your workforce.
Yeah,
that's all right.
Yeah.
Nice. What have been some things that have shifted into operations here, right?
Okay. Yeah.
What have been some of the things that went super awesome for you in the past 4 years? Or 3.5 years?
Super awesome. I'd say we've had some amount of success, pretty good success with using Facebook ads.
Oh, interesting.
Which actually we run most of them, 90% or more, on Instagram, which is owned by Facebook. So you're giving Facebook all your money. But that has worked for us, I think, because we have this photography-based product. So we're like, these are people who we already know are taking photos, at least sharing them. So that's been something that's worked well for us, but also a strategy to be like cautious of, because the price goes up and down depending on, competition in the space that you're looking to market to. So it's probably, we still struggle with not having too many eggs in that specific basket of like finding other marketing channels that we can shift to when Facebook ad prices start climbing. So
Right. Yeah, I pulled out of Facebook ads because they just got too.
Yeah, and I've heard, I think, that in some industries it's just not really, doesn't work or not really worth it. I think having that photography component being on Instagram kind of worked for us.
No, something retail, I could see that working well. Are you able to focus pretty well with who you're sending the ads to?
Facebook has like so much data that you can target by age and location and interests and everything. So yeah.
And you're doing nationwide ads? Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. Are there do you find certain areas that perform better than others, or
I don't know if we haven't used the like location tool too much, since we're just online, anyone can place an order. We have definitely seen like, a really easy place to start is to look, if you have a Facebook page, look at who liked your page. You know? And so we take a look at that, and it's like 90% female. So we're like, okay, well, we're going to just show our ads to females.
That's fair.
Kind of like you were talking about narrowing down your niche. And,
yes.
So we're going to target our ads in that direction, and then looking at age. That's interesting because Instagram is a younger audience.
Sure.
So we see that we have a younger customer base.
Sure.
But if we segment out by people who are spending more per order, that's an older segment. So then it's like, do we keep advertising to younger people, just like build up this number, or a little more strategically show ads? And you kind of develop a strategy of showing maybe ads for higher priced products to people in a little older age bracket. But yeah,
interesting.
Definitely.
That makes sense. That's a little bit of a challenge, you can tell.
Yeah.
Funny. So are you the one that does the marketing, or is that an outside company or employee?
No, we have one employee who is runs most of the marketing, and occasionally we've tried outside help, just like day-to-day running the ads, because Facebook ads you can tweak up and down and try different audiences, different graphics, just all day long. So yeah, right now we are having some outside help, and it's like, because it's more, the cost is low enough that her time is more valuable spent on other things. And so she's kind of managing this outside help that we're getting on.
That's fair. Yeah. That's fair. How else do you guys bring in clients besides online ads?
Mostly online ads.
Mostly, okay, that's fair.
We also have a referral program on our site. So the give 10, get 10,
cool.
Somebody can tell their friends about our product, and then a friend will get some credit, and they'll get some credit. We're looking at tweaking that, because I think it's not performing as well as I think maybe it could be if we change the offer or change the way they can share.
Sure.
We did this past weekend just try our first ever conference where we had a booth and talked to people about our product. So that was really interesting.
Okay.
To try out for the first time.
Did you get good feedback or?
Yeah, it was interesting to see, because for Facebook ads, it's so clear cut. At the end of the day, they can tell you X number of people saw it, X number of people placed an order or clicked on it, or spent money. But at something like this conference we were just at, we talked to a bunch of people, and they seemed really nice. But now you sit back and wait, and we did give them a coupon code and a special link to use so that we can see the traffic of it after the fact. But yeah, from just coming back yesterday, we're not 100% clear how effective it was. But we did. I was speaking with my coworker on the way home about other things that you learn from going to a trade show besides, or other things you gain, I guess, besides just the sales that you might make while you're there. And for me, it's really valuable just the feedback we got in person, because we had some of our photo books there, and people walking up and looking at them and saying, oh, this is really good quality, or oh, this is, can you put a caption under, the photo?
Sure.
And just, I'm like, that helped us right there in one weekend, like, know all of the questions we should be putting on our FAQ section, because we got them in person, things that we could be making more clear on the site, or features that people are looking for that we don't have. So that was a really valuable thing to get out of it.
So you had a little focus group, more or less.
Yeah, it's basically a focus group.
That's awesome. So you got some interesting, I suppose, one-on-one interaction with people that they could tell you X, Y, or Z, good stuff, bad stuff, whatever.
Yeah, and even people just telling us the challenge of like printing their photos in general, because this was a conference called MommyCon, because our audience has a lot of that mom crowd printing pictures of their kids.
Sure.
And so hearing the challenges, so many people saying, oh, my kid is 6 years old, but I only have photo books up until he's 2 because I ran out of time. Or, I have thousands of photos on my phone and I have not printed one ever. Hearing just how people are dealing with photos. And we only had one person the whole time who said, I don't really take a lot of photos. So we were like, what is happening?
Do you have any friends?
I think that was the exception that proves the rule, that most people are taking a lot of photos all the time, especially of their kids.
Yeah.
So, feedback like that is valuable for us. Like, okay, so how can we make it easier for people to do these things?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I see pictures of, I guess, going back to employees, right? I see pictures, you try to Facebook or Instagram people to try to get a little bit of background of what they like, all that jazz, see what you can see. And it amazes me how many people take selfies of themselves.
Yeah.
Just thinking like, holy cow. I don't get that at all.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah, I think when you look at our customer photos coming through, it's interesting because you don't see a lot of selfies coming through. Maybe in a set of photos if they're printing a whole vacation or something, but I don't know that I've ever seen a selfie come through as like a wall print someone's going to hang above their couch. I don't know.
How cool would that be?
Yeah.
Just a selfie 4 foot by 3 foot.
Yeah. Maybe if you have a really good selfie, just put that in front of your mirror and check that every day instead of the mirror.
We're good. Nailed it again.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's not a bad idea.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, it blows my mind. So I guess I just talked about the availability of taking a picture anywhere, anytime. It's always with you. It's crazy. So
right there in your pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we actually have a brand new product coming out this week. I don't know
nice.
when the podcast will air, but
Wednesday.
All right. So stay tuned, because I think on Thursday we're launching it, but it's okay. You guys are getting a sneak peek. We did talk about it at the conference this weekend, so people know.
Nice.
And it's like a photo book making service. So you basically hook up your Instagram, or you can also choose just like a album on your phone if you don't really share to Instagram much. And then every time you post 50 photos, we make a photo book and ship it to your house. Whoa. So hopefully how it works is it just takes you, like less than 10 minutes to set up your account, hook in your Instagram, put in your address. And then when you do sign up, we'll make a book right away of your most recent 50 photos, just to kind of give you that, to test out the product right away. You don't have to wait. And then photo books will just keep coming over time. And we're hoping, especially, that's why we were at the Mommy Conference, for moms that don't have any time, they're chasing around their kids. They have time to take the photos, but not to sit down and make a book, that this will kind of solve that problem for them.
And it's just automatically done.
Yeah, automatically goes right to your door. And it's definitely something we, learned from our customers, having these interactions with them, saying like, I never print, but I wish I did. And making a photo book takes too long. So we thought, how can we solve that for people?
So you automate it.
Yeah.
That's genius. Yeah. That had to be a little bit of a nightmare from a software point of view.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I didn't have to build it, but it was, a lot of back and forth, a lot of bugs you run into that you don't expect. But yeah, I think we've got it. We've tested it out. It's fun. Everyone in the office and the customer support team have all ordered their own, first book come in automatically made. So it's fun to see those coming in. Yeah.
So let me ask you this because this is awesome business thing, right? There's a new idea. And from the time that the company came up with the idea to the time now of implementation, are we talking weeks or months or?
Ooh, no, this one's been definitely months, not weeks. And I'd say at least 6 months, maybe a little longer. And we were thinking of maybe launching it last fall, but as we got closer to the fall, we realized the holidays are naturally the busiest time for us and a lot of businesses. So it didn't really make sense to launch a brand new thing and try to get people on board. And it is mostly a product for the people just making books for themselves. It's not super gifty.
Sure.
Although you can add like a grandparent's address and give them a book every time.
Nice.
So that's a pretty cool feature.
Sure.
But then we made the decision to wait until well after the holidays to kind of give it more of a spring launch. So
nice.
it's been a while
It's been
in the
works.
I'm really excited to get it going.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What are some of your most popular products then?
So on the, regular build it yourself side of the website, our most popular product is the square prints I talked about. And so
these are just prints.
They're just prints. They're 4" by 4" is the standard size, and you can go a little bigger, you can go smaller. And just seeing how many of those go out the door, we have developed other products like the bigger ones and the smaller ones came later. We've added one that has just like a gold border around the edge. It kind of looks nice. Yeah. So we sell a lot of sets of those squares. And then our next most popular product is the 3" by 4" wall photo.
That's your second most popular product?
Yeah, I think because it's pretty unique. It's hard to get a photo that big printed anywhere, especially on the inexpensive paper.
Sure.
And then
that's awesome.
The next most popular is our fine art prints. So they're just more of a classic, like you can get an 8 by 10, you can get a 16 by 20. And I think people like ours because they're a little different than traditional, like what you could get at other photo printing places. They're on a matte paper instead of glossy. Okay. And you can add an optional like white border that looks nice around the edge. And we sell like wooden rails to hang them from that look pretty nice, really easy to use. So I think the people like hanging stuff on their walls.
Sure. That is crazy. I would have never guessed that the huge portrait or the huge picture would have been your second most popular thing.
I think it's also like pretty impactful as an ad. So if you show a picture of a photo on a wall, you might think like, is this an ad for a couch or a wall? Or, you know? Right. But when you show someone standing holding a print in front of their body that's almost blocking an entire human, it's pretty.
That is cool.
Wow, I want one of those. So
that is awesome.
So it does pretty well.
Nice. Is shipping an issue with something like that, or is it just poster tube and
we
away
ship
you
it
go?
in a tube. Yeah, it's definitely more than a lot of our other products because it's an unusual shape, but. Yeah.
Let's talk about shipping a little bit because that's from an e-commerce site. I have a couple just side e-commerce sites, and shipping has been what I would call let's call it one of the biggest challenges. From there's a couple ends. Like one, you have to actually get the product shipped and packed so that it doesn't break on its way to customer's house or place, whatever.
Yeah.
And two, you have to figure out how to charge for shipping or how to get away with not charging for shipping.
Yeah.
Because there was a moment in time when everybody thought that shipping should be free.
Yeah.
I like to think that moment has passed when I'm selling stuff, but I wish that moment was still here when I'm buying stuff.
Yep.
So I understand it. Right? But that's because some people, I was selling this Jeep dead pedal, chunk of metal for Jeeps, right? But it was, I don't know, let's call it in a 6-inch cube box. And to ship that was probably $15.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't shipping hundreds of them or anything, so there's no real volume discount.
Yeah.
But if you put shipping for $15, people just get scared away.
Yeah.
Like $15, you're trying to pay your mortgage on one sale? What in the world, right? Because they just have this shipping should be free or 99 cents or some crazy thing.
Yeah, that's a challenge for us too because our products are pretty like inexpensive if you're just going to come buy one set of prints or one photo for the wall. We don't, we're not a company that's selling $100 product, a $200 product where you can kind of just hide some of the shipping costs into the price of that product. So we do a bit of that. If, like for example, we just talked about those really big prints that cost a little bit more to ship. So we do charge a little bit more for the print because we know every single one of those is going out in a big old tube.
Right.
So then it's a little bit simplified when you get to the cart. We have pretty straightforward shipping costs, but we do have to charge for shipping. And I'm the same way where I'm like, I know you can get free shipping on a lot of sites, but just for us, it just didn't. It wasn't really worth it. We'd have to make our products like really expensive if we wanted to do the free shipping. So I'd rather have customers, like buy what they can buy and look at the shipping costs and kind of decide for themselves.
Sure. What they're gonna do you ever get fallout or people saying, "Holy cow, this is outrageous," or getting just you probably keep track of shopping carts that have been abandoned or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say we've definitely like played with the shipping pricing up and down, and we don't have a ton of room. Like, we're never going to go way super low.
No.
We have tried, so we offer like a no rush, standard, and express.
Sure.
And so playing with those prices is interesting. Because for us, it works out the best if people go with the standard price in the middle. So making sure that the no rush isn't like too cheap, everyone would choose it,
right.
or or that express isn't too good of a deal.
Sure, right. I want this next day, right?
So yeah, we did a few experiments around that, or even just change them for a couple of days and see what people are choosing.
Sure.
Before we decide what to go with, and then. Another challenge for us is that we use a few different printing facilities. So there's like one in the U.S. Well, there's one in India.
So people are ordering multiple things.
Yeah, they're ordering multiple things. So sometimes they'll have to ship 2 different shipments. But we just kind of like average that out over all of our orders. So someone's not going to be paying twice as much shipping just because it's coming from 2 places.
Sure.
But we just kind of keep an eye out for that. And if it's happening too much, then we would just have to raise the shipping prices overall.
Sure.
And the rates that we're getting from, FedEx or UPS or whoever are different if they're coming from the U.S. or coming from overseas. But
sure,
yeah,
it's a small world until you have to ship something.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. Nice. What are some of the metrics that you keep track of on a day-to-day basis to know if business is going up or down or stagnant? I don't know.
Yeah. So every day, like a real easy, quick number to look at is just the number of orders that we're getting in a given day. And then if you can keep that steady or increasing, looking at the order values that are coming in. So, okay, everyone's just buying the smallest print set. Well, can we add, we added a wooden block that you can stand your prints in.
Sure.
Maybe, hopefully a few people will choose that and raise the value of their cart up a little bit. We also do a fair amount of like discounts and deals for our customers, either through our email list or our social channels. So any given day we have one of those going on, looking at coupon uses to make sure, like, are we talking about it enough? Was it a good deal people liked? Do people think this is not a good deal?
Sure.
That kind of stuff.
Sure.
So kind of keep an eye on that a lot. And then I guess everyone on our team kind of has their numbers that they're looking at and I'll check in with. So for customer support, there's just the like overall generally at the end of the week, like what were there any common issues? Like, actually a lot of people were talking about this one product. Do we need to, fix something?
Sure.
And then even just the number of emails coming in, we look every week at the number of emails compared to the number of orders we're getting, because if you just looked at the number of emails coming in, you'd think at Christmas things were going horribly wrong. But actually it's just that we got twice as many orders, and so we're getting more questions.
Sure.
But that just helps us gauge like if we ran a promotion that wasn't clear and everyone was emailing in going, what's happening? Or if there's, some misinformation on the site we need to fix. So we look at that to make sure.
Emails per order. That's clever.
Make sure our customers are getting all their questions answered. And then we do some amount of, tracking traffic. So where's it coming from? Because that helps, the marketing folks know, did we work with a partner who wrote a blog post that's sending us traffic? Or even sometimes hopefully finding some traffic that's coming in from a site we didn't even know was talking about us, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
So
you raised an interesting point there I want to segue into. I meant to ask you this earlier in regards to social media.
Yeah.
Like I know you pay for ads and stuff like that, but I imagine you have to be present on social media, right? So how do you maintain that?
Yeah, we it's been a different person on the team at any given time. It's changed around who's posting. But yeah, we definitely try to stay consistent and, if you look at the traffic, like which channels are sending us actual sales, because over time we've realized, well, it's really important for us to be posting to Instagram twice a day, but we're getting almost nobody coming from Twitter. So we kind of just set it to post our Instagram posts, just send them over to Twitter, but not really doing anything special and Twittery for those posts there.
Sure.
And yeah, we just try to stay consistent and do a little analysis now and then. It's really interesting to see like a post with a dog in it is always going to get
so many
likes. Yes. But you can't post dogs every day, so finding the reasonable amount of posts with dogs to do.
Well, I got a client that's dog daycare.
Oh, nice.
Like, you have a gold mine here from the social media.
Their social media is just like, I'd follow it. Tell me the handle after, I'll follow it. But Yeah, so doing some analysis and which posts are people interacting with on a given day. We got a lot of orders. Oh, was that because of a certain post we did? So tracking things like that.
Sure.
On social media is important, and then also it is social media where people go to be friends with their friends and interact. So making sure that our customer support team is treating those customers like people would treat their friends on social media. So if we get messages that people are sending to us. Sometimes it's a question. Someone will just first reach out on Instagram and say how much is shipping, making sure you're watching that to answer.
Sure.
And then also Instagram will tell you if somebody tagged you or somebody mentioned you in a story, then making sure we're interacting back and thanking them for doing that.
Sure.
To kind of.
Oh, I know. One of the things I want to ask you in regards was Instagram. Because Instagram, I'm apparently too old to really use Instagram. And I've discovered why.
Okay.
Is because you have to do it on your phone.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm at a desk.
From your computer. Yeah.
And I'm like, why can't I use a computer? This is 50 times more powerful than this phone. It's way easier to see.
Yeah.
But they force you to use this little 6-inch screen.
Yeah. I think they figure you're taking the photos on your phone, then you'll post them. But some people aren't taking photos on their phone. They're still using cameras.
I'm just using stats and stuff like that, or even placing ads.
Yeah.
Do you do all that from a phone?
The ads you can do through Facebook Ads Manager on a computer. Yeah.
Okay.
And there are some services. We've tried using one, but it's harder to get that back and forth interaction, stay right on top of things. I think Later is one where you can pre-schedule Instagram posts and they'll go out. And for years they didn't allow that at all. They didn't let anyone post without actually being on their phone and posting. But there's a couple software options now that you can pre-schedule Instagram posts.
Are you using something like that, or your team is just on the phone?
Nope, just posting them on the phone.
All right.
It's been a couple years, but I used to run our Instagram, and I would have an alarm on my phone go off a couple times a day in the morning and the afternoon. That was don't forget to post.
Quick, take a picture, post it on there.
And my trick was if I had a picture on my computer I wanted to post, I also have text messaging on my computer. Yeah. So I would text message myself the photo. Go on my phone, download it, post it to Instagram.
Funny.
So, it turns into a whole...
Isn't technology easy?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. What have been some of your other favorite things about being part of this business for 3.5 years?
Yeah, so I
think... Or longer, really.
Yeah.
I guess as it evolved.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite things when I'm getting stressed out or, thinking of all the businessy things that you have to worry about all day long. One of my favorite things to do is to go on Instagram on my phone. Right. Actually, you can also search Instagram on your computer. So sometimes I do it on my computer. Okay. And search the hashtag Parabo Press. Oh. And just see customer photos. Because then I remember, oh, yeah, this mom put these 3 beautiful pictures of her lovely children on top of the couch. It looks great. And oh man, look at this newsprint photo of someone's trip somewhere. So seeing what our customers are actually doing with our products is to me the most
super
relaxing, rewarding part of the day. To see just what people are getting out of the thing that we're working on all day long. Yeah.
That's funny. It's really authentic and you're never off then.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Huh, so that's super cool. What have been some of your favorite clients that you've had to deal with or gotten to deal with? Made that sound right. You have to deal with them.
You have to deal with. I try to think. We're so B2C, just working with regular people that I don't know if there's anyone who really stands out. We have some customers who will use our prints to maybe they're photographers or even designers who will make prints to sell. And so they'll come back again and again to order either books of their art or prints. So those are fun people to work with. We've also sometimes work with other brands more for marketing partnerships.
Okay. Sure.
So those are fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
One of the things that I wanted to ask was in regards to printing, because I had this printer repair company, so I had to deal with printers and color and all that jazz, reproduction, all that. And I imagine with a phone or with even a monitor or something like that, their purple or pink or whatever is not necessarily going to be what the purple prints out right. So do you ever have any challenges with people saying, hey, the color is off? Or
yeah, I'd say it's pretty rare because our products are so casual and more home decor and for Instagrammers that they're less particular about color than if we were printing for professional photographers trying to do an exhibit or something like that. Okay. So I think we deal with it less than other people, but it is definitely something we consider, and something that maybe I'll get tips from you when you were in the printer business. Something that we've considered possibly doing is even like tweaking customer photos at all, because when you look at a photo on your phone, like there's light coming out of it. There's like light behind it, even if you don't notice.
You versus reflecting.
And then when you hold a paper print in your hand, there's no light coming through it. So do we need to like artificially brighten people's photos just a little bit? I think if it's something we did, you could pick a setting on your printer or on your software that's going to do it across the board to everything. And there is software that will use artificial intelligence to look at a photo and decide this photo seems like it's low contrast and like do it on a photo by photo basis. So that's something that we have not done yet, but we're just getting into like maybe we'll find a few and see. Because every once in a while we'll order a photo book from ourselves and then use the same photos on a competitor's site just to compare quality across.
Interesting. Sure.
And recently, we printed the same exact photos in 2 books and noticed that the competitor's book was a bit brighter. And it was interesting because some of the photos looked a lot better and some of the photos looked worse. So then it's like, okay, can we find a solution that will save our customers time as far as editing their own photos, but isn't gonna like give someone a book that doesn't look good? So,
right, because how many people are gonna go through all of their photos and edit them?
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I don't have any good solutions there. I can remember standing with a graphic designer client. Yeah. And they had a Pantone, the Pantone palette, right?
Booklet thing.
And they're holding that up to their monitor, and of course that color, it was some red, didn't line up with their monitor, and the printout didn't line up. So we had 3 things, right? And the monitor, like you said, is shining light at you. The Pantone thing is reflecting off, and the printer thing is reflecting off. But the printer thing, there's so much like that image had to be compressed and expanded, 2-3 times before the printer actually spit it out. Then the whole software within the printer. Like, there are so many things that we did not have control over. Yeah. I'm like, if there was an artist reproduction at the Louvre of whatever it is that you're trying to print out, even they would have a challenge. Yeah. What you're trying to do with a $2,000 printer, because we could set it up so that this thing would print out perfect. Yeah. But just like you said, the next print, if it's of people and the next one is of landscape or something like that, totally different.
Need to be something else. Yeah.
Totally different. I'm like, how many times do you want to do this? And is it really that important? It was to the point where they were getting out that little glass.
Little loop.
Yeah, the loop. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be here for hours with no solution. So you kind of do everything you can to say, like, this is reality, and does it really matter? Yeah. And to some people it does, and you do everything you can, but in the end, you're limited to the technology. Yeah. And so, like, maybe in 10, 20 years, when, I don't know, 4K is something that people are like, oh, that pixely thing? Ugh. Yeah. Right, whatever, but we're not there yet.
Yep. And that's why I'm grateful for, like, phone cameras getting better and better. I'm like, it's less problem for us.
Oh, sure, that's true.
They're automatically doing, like, HDR in the background and, like, all these things. And people's photos are just getting better.
That's awesome.
Which is nice.
Nice.
More good stuff to print.
So you've been in charge. How long have you been in charge of Parabo Press?
So about a year almost.
Okay. Yeah. So after being in charge for about a year and for experiencing it for years, plural, what is some advice that you would give to someone that is in a leadership role? The worst question I could ever ask.
Just keep trying. I don't know. I think.
Don't give up.
Yeah, I mean, some days you think like, man, I do a great job of this, and some days you think like, do I? But I think overall, if you're trying new things, always willing to learn new things.
Sure.
I think, I appreciate that I haven't been running things forever, so I feel like I know what it's like to be on all levels of the totem pole. Sure. And so hopefully I'm keeping that in mind and making sure that I'm doing the best I can.
Sure.
And I had one really impactful manager who ran the company that I worked for many years ago, and he was just so good at leading by example.
Oh,
so
nice.
Every day I think, like if I wish my employees did X or Y or Z. I just think like, am I doing that? Like check myself first.
Sure.
And make sure you're leading your team by example.
Sure.
And I have a pretty awesome team, so either I'm doing a good job or just kidding, or I just got really lucky. But I think we're all working pretty well.
Yeah, realistically, when everything goes bad, they blame the leader. When everything goes good, they blame the employees. So you can take a little bit of credit. So safe place. That's cool here.
Yeah.
Well, Laurel, before we take off, why don't you tell us what the website is for Parabo Press?
Yeah, it's just www.parabo.press.
Parabo.press. So Parabo.press. Press. That's almost too easy.
Yeah.
Well, that leads me to one last question.
Yeah.
I'm just tangent here. The Parabo.press, do you ever have people challenging you or going to Parabo.com accidentally or anything?
I think since Parabo is a unique word, and not really the name of many other things, we own ParaboPress.com.
Okay.
I think we own Parabo.com as well, Parabo.me. Like we bought a few different iterations of it.
Okay.
So
you got it.
We're the ones that pop up.
Okay, awesome. So Parabo.press. It's almost too easy. Cool. Well, Laurel, thank you very much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for chatting.
This has been awesome. Yeah, it's good times. This has been Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggles, stories, and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. Coming to you from the Sun Prairie Community Radio Studios, underwritten by Bank of Sun Prairie. My name is James Kademan, and Authentic Business Adventures has been brought to you by Calls on Call, offering call answering and receptionist services for small businesses across the country, on the web at callsoncall.com. As well as Draw In Customers Business Coaching, offering business coaching services for entrepreneurs in all stages of their business, on the web at drawincustomers.com. And, of course, the Bold Business Book, a book for the entrepreneur in all of us, available on Amazon and wherever fine books are sold. We'd like to thank you, our wonderful listeners, as well as our guest, Laurel Link from Parabo Press. The website, once again?
Parabo.press.
Parabo.press. Awesome. Laurel, thank you for being here. This has been awesome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's really fun.
Find us airing on 103.5 Wednesdays at 1 p.m., Sundays at 2 p.m., as well as at sunprairiemediacenter.com. Past episodes can be found morning, noon, and night at the podcast link, found at drawincustomers.com. Thank you for listening. We will see you next week. I want you to stay awesome, and if you do nothing else, enjoy your business.